we needed then to address these issues if we wanted to continue our work here in Africa. So we came out then with new ways of doing things because on our culture, we know that people learn in a different manner, like than in Europe. They learn from analogies. They like stories. And what we also knew is that they looks like my connection. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Well, fine, Amand.
Okay. So I need to have the feedback because sometimes here it's not quite stable. As you can notice here, there is another challenge. We have a power breakdown here. So you may hear in the background the power generator. So I'm just lucky that these guys from the telecom have the connection on. So the challenge was that how do we provide GNU health training while introducing basic computer knowledge in 12-hour time. This is about the time that we dedicate to train a group of 10 people. So you can guess what we did. So that was the main challenge. So what we did is that, okay, we based upon a few criteria. First, don't teach people about IT. We need first to increase the confidence and trust with this. Don't mention any IT issues because you scare people. So the idea is the kind of tricking them. So instead of teaching them, we change our type to ask them questions. How they do their job? To share with them their experience and to listen to them. And of course, to reduce the IT jargon to a minimum. Not to focus on functionalities, but more on processes with that what they are used to do on a daily basis. Tell stories and give appreciation for their efforts. So this is the approach that we had. Based on that, we build a kind of new dictionary. We, instead of focusing on the GNU Health world, we build a new dictionary where we converted the GNU Health world in a GNU Health Pidgin English. Pidgin is a kind of English language tropicalized, adapted to the local culture. So this is what we did. Means that instead of talking about GNU Health, defining GNU Health as a free, libre, health and hospital, blah blah blah, information system, blah 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 blah, we just say GNU Health is a free, libre, virtual hospital. It means that what you have in GNU Health is not different of what you see, what you know about your physical hospital. Instead of talking about computer, we ask them if they know about smartphone. We say, okay, a computer is easier to use than a smartphone. Instead of talking about mouse and so on, we ask them, okay, if they know how to use a syringe. They did, of course. We say, okay, it's easier. A mouse is easier to move than a syringe where you need a lot of precision. And of course, we teach them how to click, double click, all these were terminologies you didn't know at the beginning. And of course, we introduce keyboard that was just similar to what they used to do with the smartphone. GNU Health login, the GNU Health login, what you have is the screen, login screen, is we just told them that this is the main entrance of their hospital. and where we explain how the GNU Health interface by the virtual hospital. And of course, the GNU Health main menu was the organigram of the virtual hospital. And instead of talking about GNU Health functionalities, we talked about hospital department and location. And instead of talking about the patient workflow, we talked about the patient course in the hospital or the patient hospital. And we presenting to them, converting the GNU Health form in hard copy form. We presented them with hard copy form, completed forms, and empty forms. We told them that it is what the form that they used to manipulate, they used to process manually, are similar. So, and of course, all the GNU Health commands were converted. What we have, the action that they have to do in the virtual hospital, for example, to search a patient medical record, we say, okay, this is the AQL element in GNU Health. Health, they go to the menu Health, and then patient, and then search. So we did a whole dictionary how to convert all these GNU Health commands into or vice versa, how to convert the action at the virtual hospital into GNU Health command. So based on this new paradigm, this new terminology, we were ready to start. So I'm just showing how to restore the patient workflow at the 8 outpatient department. So we first show them the patient course, what they know already. We show them in that workflow, we show them the kind of form they needed to process. And also the kind of action, which I've already shown. And that's it. So we did first a manual processing by first reviewing the workflow and then with an example, first review the workflow. This is that one, they know it better than even me. This is the workflow at the outpatient department. We reviewed together the workflow and we told the story of the patient experience through this workflow. And we went at every single position, at every single location, we review what the staff was doing. So we filled the form. We had printout forms. We had completed form. This is the completed form. We review the workflow by showing them at each location, at each position, what the staff was doing manually, which they do. We were just reviewing with them their own work. And then we gave, based on that, we gave an exercise where we figure out the patient which had to go through a workflow, and they had to fill the forms manually just to check that they knew what they're doing and understand our language. And they did, of course. And then we switched from the manual processing to the GNU Health processing. When I talk about GNU Health processing, in fact, to the processing into the virtual hospital. So we just needed to convert first the patient workflow, but the patient workflow was almost similar. And to navigate through that workflow, we needed the GNU Health command. So we have that conversion. And we already had the content of the forms. So what we did, we just needed them to go through the virtual hospital and step by step navigate through that and fill the forms. So, of course, just to give you an idea what, for example, for patient management, what it looks like in the whole virtual hospital and the conversion into GNU Health. It's in French, but I didn't have time to translate what you have on the left side are the actions at the virtual hospital, and on the right side the GNU Health command, the equivalent of GNU Health command. So they just need it. They have this sheet, that is a table. They just need them to go through and process it. So the feedback this time was quite different from what we used to have a few years ago. Staff were very pleased. They were surprised that GNU Health was so easy. And of course, they could not. The thing here is they did no longer focus on the IT, on the complexity of the IT, but now they could immediately see or identify the benefits that it would bring for their job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Armand. We already have some questions. I think you can see it yourself, or should I read them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So probably it might be better if we just read it to him. We can.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first question is, would a lightweight interface to GNU Health help the adoption of GNU Health, example given for health workers?
Yes, I think the second question, that question, the interface as such is fine because I think it's quite easy. But an improvement, and I think we already started discussing about that, is to introduce workflows, use cases, because they used to do similar processes. It's only to embed them into GNU Health. That will make things much easier. It increase their acceptance. That's true.
Okay. And the next one may be a little bit difficult. What coding standards are used in the countries that you've installed GNU Health? Are the health professionals familiar with them? I think that
no. They don't. I mean, I was amazed. Maybe that's one of the points. I didn't have time to focus on that. But I was amazed to notice that. All the WHO code and all the standard code like ICD-10 and so on. I mean, they don't teach them at medical school. That one was a major weakness. Nobody knows about ICD-10 and so on. So we have to introduce, while we are teaching, we have to introduce all these codes the easy way. And thanks to GNU Health, it's very easy because when you know the disease, the name of the disease, the GNU Health are always embedding all that. So it was not a big issue. Thanks to the way that GNU Health already integrated the code.
Okay. Then the last question would be, would it be possible to integrate the workflow into GNU Health? Example given, patient enrollment, etc.
Yes, I think this is what we're discussing about with Luis. Is to already integrate use cases and as workflow. First, completed use case. I think the way a little bit Microsoft does. I know that it's a word that is not well. I would say, okay, the way commercial companies do their job, they have wizards where you see a completed use case, and then you can follow and you can get assistance at any step of the workflow. I think this is what we are starting to discussing, and I think it will bring a huge improvement and, of course, improve the user acceptance.
Okay, thanks. It looks like there is no other question, so we are pretty good on time. Then we can go to the next presentation. Thank you very much, Armand.
Thank you to all, thank you.
So the next one is, I think this presentation passed pretty good to the other one because he could help maybe with his presentation, Hidden Games, the easy way to GNU Health.
Yeah, thank you, Ricardo.
I thank you.
I think we're a little bit ahead of time, so I would like to wait another 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we can start discussion already.
We could do those three.
Yeah, but can you upload your presentation? It's already uploaded, Axel?
No, I need to upload the PDF. Hang on a second.
While Axel does that, I would just like to comment on Armand's presentation. This is so important. I mean, what he mentioned is not happening only in some countries of Africa, but that is happening pretty much all over the world. And by not having good coding standards, it's impossible to have good statistics and epidemiology and so on. I mean, you see all over the world that health professionals just free write the diagnosis and the procedures, and it's impossible to do pretty much anything on that sense. So what Armand has been doing for the last 5 years in Cameroon, Congo, Gabon, just formidable. I mean, it's really phenomenal. So yeah, we really have to learn from him and be able to overcome that digital divide that it's not just in Africa, it's pretty much all over the world. I don't know, Axel, what you think about that, my friend?
Absolutely, and I think that was a great presentation, and it gives us a good hint how that we need to approach things maybe completely different than we need to do it over here in Europe. I mean, I've done a couple of system implementations, not necessarily in hospitals, but with various customers in the industry sector, and we were taking more the approach that Armand was describing in the first place, but the people over here are much better educated in most cases. So they have some IT knowledge, they have a PC at home, they know how to deal with it, they know it doesn't bite back and something like that. But this approach that Armand has taken, I like it very much, and obviously it is shown that he was very successful with it. It's good. Luis, are you there?
Yeah, no, I just put my mic on mute. Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of empowering at the end. I comment something on, the user reaction, the fear of changing. People is used to do it on pen and paper. But again, it's not an African issue. It's not just you see this in many countries around the world, and for them to start using standard coding procedures and whatever, it's going to create some resistance, and what he has done by empowering them, by making them part of the team, part of the project, it's fantastic. And also, in this last minute that we have for comments, this shows the importance of having local team and local people doing local projects. Meaning, Armand is a European, but he's also a guy from
Yeah.
Gabon, Congo, and he knows the culture.
Yeah.
If we go there, we don't know the French, we don't know the culture, and we are going to fail absolutely on the implementation, and that's key for the good implementation. Of course, talented people as Armand. So, anyways, thank you, Armand, again for your great presentation, and now it's time for the German guy.
Okay. now, now it's your time, Axel.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, to finish this off, Luis, you're perfectly right. Cultural differences make a lot of differences, and Amman is just perfect for implementing GNU Health in Africa. So wonderful that we have him on board. So good morning, everybody. To follow up on the question yesterday, out of the variety of GNU Health shirts, which one to wear? Yesterday we had the winner, that was the social medicine one. Today I'm wearing the other one, that was the second place, and to show you this. This is everybody who's seen Game of Thrones knows the dragon. This one looks a little bit like a gecko. And here, not the winter is coming, but the release is coming, which is always scary for us. And as we will probably have a new GNU Health release next month, so this is more than true. We are scared about the new release. So let me start the presentation, and I will do this with a screen share in this case. So I'll talk about the hidden gems, the easy way to GNU Health. A few words about myself. I'm an engineer by education. I've studied electrical engineering, and from there I went into consulting and optimizing supply chains, partly global supply chains, including production, planning and control things and something like that. I worked a lot with SAP, which is leading in the ERP part, and I've done also a lot of project management tasks. And SAP, as said, is the leader in the ERP world, so from there the step to a free ERP system was not that difficult. So I got in contact with, I think, Triton in about 2008. And I was just not skilled enough to install it from the sources, so I started packaging it for OpenSUSE. And as I was looking at a later point in time for a system to run a practitioner's office, I came around GNU Health, and yeah, this is how I ended up in the GNU Health team. So I'm convinced about the value of free software. I'm using myself Linux since the 90s and running my home office and my business office with free software. It talks about that on a GNU Health meet, on a open source meets business conference and something like that. And beside my role in the GNU Health team, I'm also an OpenSUSE board member. Computer expert, a developer, or a hacker, go and get your lunch. This is not a presentation for you. 12:30 we have in Central Europe now, so that is a good time to grab a sandwich. But if you wonder how GNU Health works and you always wanted to give it a try and never got it really up and running, then this talk is probably for you. So some popcorn to it. To make them to the presentation before, Louis and I were on a medical trade fair over here, the Medica in Düsseldorf, which is, I think, one of the largest trade fairs in the world. All is really shiny, bling bling, expensive, and a hell of proprietary. And we were standing there with our little booth and saying, hey, we have a free as in Freedom Health and hospital information system. Ooh, okay. And there a heart surgeon from Mali came around. He had his laptop under the arm and said, look, I want to get this up and running, but I can't. So at the booth, we installed GNU Health properly, and then Louis discussed with him how to convert his proprietary database into a data set that he can import. So for those kind of people who have not the technical skills, this is basically now the hidden gem. When we say we want to use GNU Health, then we need to install it first of all. But we start at Wikibooks. We scroll down through Wikibooks and we see, there is a technical guide and that deals with installation. If we go to installation, then we see requirements, errata, installing GNU Health on GNU Linux and FreeBSD. Yes, this is probably the way we need to go. And then we come to the section of operating requirements. So there is warning, verify that you're using mentioned, and usually we try to use the open source setup. When we do so, a hint at least, the Wikibooks deal with vanilla installation. That means you install it all from the sources, from the packages. If you want to do something different, this is about the community pages. So if you go to the community pages, you get a warning. Everything that happens up to now, this is on your own risk. That reminds me a little bit on Old Berlin with these big signs. You're leaving this desperate, dangerous. But then we come to the package-based one-click install. And here we find the link to the OpenSUSE Wiki, where basically the installation from packages is explained. So, why do we want a one-click install from a package? First of all, have you ever tried to build or to compile a certain software from source, like Firefox or LibreOffice or whatever tool? We have yesterday learned how Qt, for example, is used together with Python. I think most of you haven't done that because this is very technical and a hell of complicated. You have to deal with dependencies, you have to deal with compiler settings, you have to deal with system paths where it has to go and so on. This is not something that a normal user should do, and this is also not what you expect from a software that you want to use. So in case you get a package for it, then the package maintainer basically takes care about all this. So he makes sure that the dependencies are available. So this package, and you want to install it, that all the dependent packages are installed as well. He takes care about the integration into the system. He also deals, for example, with audits, with security audits, or before a package becomes an official part of a distribution, he has to undergo certain audits, starting from legal, for example, that the license is used is really a free software license, but as well as the setup in the so-called specification file, that everything is in the right place, that the documentation is provided, and so on. And the packager takes, of course, about security updates. And finally, the packaged way is basically the only one that you can use in your large-scale deployments. So if you're not installing GNU Health on a single machine, for example, but you have 100 desktop computers to set up, then the vanilla installation is probably not the one to go. So what means easy installation? If you have a package, then you can use Just. This is the management tool where OpenSUSE is very famous for. For GNU Health, you get a list of that have been found. You just GNU Health client, for example, and the client plus all the dependencies get installed. If you want to see the whole installation story, including the server, there is a video about that, installing GNU Health on OpenSUSE Leap 15.2, the easy way. It's about, I think, 5 to 8 minutes or something like that, and includes the whole process. And you get the updates. So if you're running a notification there that says, hey, you have a couple of new updates, the 200 updates that you see here is not the common way, but as I'm using a rolling release in my daily work, a larger amount of packages comes quite often around the corner. So you can use just the software notification, install the update, done. So, but how does the update really get to there? And here I want to explain you a little bit about the background, how the software is built on OpenSUSE. We have the so-called Open Build Service, which is the build system that we are using to build the whole distribution, basically. Whether it is OpenSUSE or it is SUSE Linux Enterprise, it is all built on the OBS, every single package, right? This transparent build process makes it easy for everybody to look into it, what's going on. So here you see, for example, we have the build environment for the GNU Health HMIS server, version 3.6.5. This is the tarball to it, the packed source code, systems where it is built for. For example, Leap 15.1, 15.2, and Tumbleweed. These are all 64 bits. Then we have here the ARM architecture, for example. Building GNU Health for ARM is just adding this target repository. Doing the same for a mainframe, the S390, what we've seen yesterday, would also be just a click away, because we are adding just this as a build target. And if you have ever tried to do cross-compilations, I mean, for OS2 you needed to have a separate PC. Then you had installed various software on that additionally, so you never really had a clean environment. Today it's a little bit easier because we have virtual machines, but OBS basically does a brilliant job for you, because it sets up for every new build that you're doing packages in that it needs for compiling, and then in the end it gives you a log what has really happened, and in case something goes wrong, for example here unresolvable, it gives you a hint what it cannot resolve. In this case, ARM v7 is a 32-bit environment, and this is LibreOffice Pi Uno, which is missing for that. But to be honest, to run it on a Raspberry Pi, we need the AArch64 architecture. So with this approach, and we can have reproducible builds. Reproducible builds means that if you compile a software on one machine and compile it again on another machine, they should be byte identical. If they are byte identical, that is an indicator that nobody worked on the sources without process, sneak something in to trick you, for example. Reproducible builds are a very important security feature, and with the OBS we can ensure reproducible builds, and I think 97% in the Open Build Service. Another thing that we're doing is we're running tests. We have a test environment called OpenQA that was also developed in the SUSE and OpenSUSE universe, and is in the project uses it, the KDE project, and this allows you to set up tests on distribution. For example, in this case, the distribution is Tumbleweed, a rolling release, So we basically have a new build every day. And we run 5 different things. First of all, we install the GNU Health server. Second, up to make this GNU Health machine usable. So we need to set up a database and something like that. Then we install the client. In the client, we connect this basically to the previously installed GNU Health node. And then we fire up the client for the first time, up to the point where we can add a user. So you see here screenshots. Inside these screenshots, we can set so-called needles, where we expect a certain result to appear. For example, something like in the first time, let's say, oh, have a user set up, something like that. If this information comes out there, the test is passed, and the whole test is passed. This OpenQA testing allows us to detect issues early in advance. To give you an update example here, or an up-to-date example, when we here run GNU fails, and it was not an issue of the GNU Health client, but it was a change in an underlying pattern. In this case, it was OpenCV, is a library that we need to access the GNU Health camera. So that had a major version change, and this major version change caused some information or caused a segmentation fault, to make it crisp. So once this happens, an error message is automatically created, a bug in Bugzilla is opened, and the package maintainer is informed and can work on that. Make sure that the integration has happened. Here, for example, we have an example from just 2 module for the service, where we can see all the running services, how they are set up, when they are started, and we can see here that GNU Health is started on boot, and the GNU Health server is already up and running. So what we did as well, as I said, the target of this setup is to make it stupid, nice and easy to get GNU Health up and running. So some 2 years ago, Luis invited me to Firgas, where he has a nice hut in the mountains of Gran Canaria, and within this week, we wrote this OpenSUSE GNU Health setup, which is a setup script that asks you 4 questions. Summarize, so the database name, the admin password, a user, and the configuration. A 5th question, whether it should be started at boot. And if you are happy with the setup, just say yes, and the script does mainly the basic setup for you. And with this thing, we're able to get GNU Health up and running really within minutes. So what you can see here is the system status of GNU Health, not in a graphical way as we've seen it before in Service Manager, but in this case we can also do it from the command line. The status of the GNU Health server, so it is up and running, and down here you see the GNU Health client, which connects to a local database. We have demo database installed also on that machine, which is a separate, well described and easy to use as well. That gives you basically a tool on hand to get GNU Health up and running within 5 to 7 minutes. Coming soon as well, I will not talk about this because this is part of Louis' talk this evening. He has developed the My GNU Health client on a Python, but as he's using Qt and Kirigami, what we've seen yesterday, that allows us to converge the smartphone with the desktop world. And here we have already a package for My GNU Health alpha version running on OpenSUSE League desktop, and that looks basically the same way as it does on the smartphone. So I hope the experts have now taken their sandwich and are back from lunch, because I have now experts really, and I want to introduce them to Micro. Yes?
We should go a little bit faster because we have some questions already. And
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I make it short and crisp. We can later on talk about MicroOS. MicroOS is a very lean, self-contained operating system which should just use a single purpose, or just deal with a single purpose. For example, run a container. Right. What we seen yesterday from Sebastian's talk, the web assembly should run into a container. You can use, for example, MicroOS to run a WebAssembly container. The smart thing is it runs from a root-only file system. That means there are no changes possible from a read-only file system. There are no changes possible during the normal runtime. And it is self-maintained. That means it updates itself each night. That means either everything works or it's being rolled back. So, and this is the ideal platform to run a single purpose, for example, a database or a GNU Health server or a container runtime. If you want to combine this with Kubernetes, which is a container management system for large, this is basically MicroOS plus Kubernetes is Cubic yourself. So, is everything fine now? Unfortunately, no, because we need more system with packages. At the moment, OpenSUSE is the only system where we have up-to-date packages. It's not bad, because in general OpenSUSE is a rock-solid distribution, and it's a good choice for enterprise-level systems. But nevertheless, we like diversity, and we would love to see more systems with packages, but therefore we would need more packager. So people that stand up and say, okay, I package this now for Gentoo, Debian, or whatever. And not everybody is already able to enjoy the benefits of free software up to now, and they're stuck with proprietary systems, whether we like it or not. But I feel we would need a GNU Health client for Windows as well. I think from the core team nobody uses Windows, so if anybody else is capable of providing knowledge here, that would be very welcome. So thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the talk, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
okay, you have already answered the second question. Is there a tool today that makes a one-click installation for all the existing Libre operating systems? No. That's a work to do, as you already answered.
Yeah, I mean the one-click installation just means you need one click to install the package. Yeah. But I mean, we are not even if you install an email client, you need to do some configuration afterwards. And here you do need to do the configuration with the setup script afterwards.
Okay.
Right.
The other question: how can we make sure that the package is maintained in all the different operating systems and distributions? We can count on you for OpenSUSE, but what happens with the other operating systems?
Yes, I explained this during the last slide of my talk. We need some more packages. The Open Build service has the big advantage that we could also package for Debian, for example, or for Arch or something like that, that needs a little different setup script. So it could be done on the same machine, but just somebody has to do it. That's the point. I mean, I hadn't really a look into it, to be honest, and I'm busy enough with maintaining it for OpenSUSE to be fair.
Okay, next question. Different OS use different file system hierarchies. How can we make sure that the documentation is homogeneous for all the different systems?
There you need to rely on the documentation that is provided with the respective package. As I said in the beginning, the packager makes the integration into the system is working properly, right? And at this point, each system is slightly different, that's true, but we're using best practices there. For example, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We rely on that, for example, the Postgres packager and the Python packager are doing a proper job. So we rely on their work, and we just add the little part that GNU Health adds to it.
Okay, then we run already almost out of time, but I make the last question, if you could answer it short. You talked about the setup. What about the upgrade?
I think an upgrade between a dot version, that means a 3.6.8 to 3.6.9, that is transparent for the user. He, in most cases, wouldn't even notice that there was an upgrade. If we have upgrades between versions, we need to be a little bit more careful, because in this case, many times database layouts change and something like that. And here we really have to take a look at the documentation as well, because Louis provides upgrade documentation with a script that needs to be run on the database in all the cases, basically. So we need to take the old database, make a backup of it, run the upgrade script, and then we should be compatible with the new version of GNU Health and can upgrade to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Axel. Then we can go to the next presentation.
Thank you.
From Carly Scotta and Mario Fontin, about design, development, and implementation of the density module for GNU Health. Experience at the Humberto D'Angelo Primary Care Center in Argentina.
So Carlos is now the presenter?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Carly is now a presenter. He just have to upload the PDF. Hi, Carly.
We cannot hear you, Carly.
Oh, Carlos is just in listening mode, so you should log out and log in again, and then choose the left icon on the pop-up box that comes up. You're at the moment joining us without microphone. Okay.
But
now it should work.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, we got it running. Great.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Carly. Hi, Mario.
How I upload the PDF? How?
on the plus, abajo de la presentación hay un signo de más.
Correcto.
Ahí puedes subir el PDF.
Perfecto. One minute. Perfect.
Carly just became a father, so very easy on him today.
Okay. In process. Okay, 50%.
Maybe you can begin explaining something while the system works. Okay, already there.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Luis, for allowing us to participate again in the New Health Conference. This time we will be presenting the design and development and its implementation in a primary healthcare center in the city of Paraná. Okay. I'm Carlos Escota. I'm bioengineer. I work at the Humberto D'Angelo Health Center in the city of Paraná, where the pilot test of the dentist model was developed, and I also work on several projects together with the team of the public health chair of the engineering faculty of the National University of Entre Rios. I'm going to share this presentation with Mario Puntin. He's a system analyst and is part of Civics, a small company that develops IT solutions, so free software. Mario was in charge of the development of the module, and he will tell you about it in a few minutes.
But one question, I think Mario is only in hearing mode. We cannot hear you. You need to upgrade this issue. Maybe log out and log in again, and choose the right option. Working with micro.
Desactivar Mario el micrófono, apretar donde están los auriculares. Ahí está. Perfecto. Okay. I continue. The presentation is organized as follows. An introduction, when we know how health is organized in Entre Rios and the National Health Center. We are going to talk about the thing that led us to think about the need for a dentist module. Then Mario is going to tell you the development of the module was carried out. Finally, we are going to show some initial results of the implementation and the next steps of future work to continue improving the development. Mario, are you there? Entre Rios is a province of...
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Entre Rios is a province of Argentina that has more than 200 health centers in the first level of care, of which have dentistry service. This data includes only provincial, not municipal, dependent health center. These health centers are organized and function under the direction of the Provincial Department of Dentistry. The province has a clinical that process all the statistical information from the health center, also on paper sheets that are sent monthly. Wait a moment. The file, okay. No, preview. Acá. The National Health Center is located in Paraná, the provincial capital, and works in an area that includes each neighborhood and more than 10,000 people. The socioeconomic conditions for the population are low or middle low. Yes, it's a provincial dependency health center that serves more than 2,000 people per month. In 2014, New Health was implemented, and since then, there has been a change in people care. The next, some New Health in the health center. Below are some of the services that work with New Health and the new development that have been made over the years. One of the most important was to be able to interoperate with the National Registry of Persons, so which will obtain the personal data of patients easily and without errors. Mario and Felix, of course, also participate in this development. The dentistry service it has 4 professionals who attend more than 200 patients per month. The medical records from the service were located outside of health system and therefore separate from the patient medical records. Another important piece of information is that there are 4 schools around the health center, so we have a lot of kids or children who get their dental checkups year after year before going to school. Next, what were the needs that led us to think about this development? On the one hand, the prevalence of dental problems in the population near the health center. On the other hand, the need to improve the service care process by integrating the information into the patient medical records. And finally, the desire to collaborate with the New Health Project, collaborate with Luis. The next, therefore, the proposal was to design, develop and test a model that allowed to computerize the process of the dentist service, integrating health information and improving the patient care. How it is possible? By the collaboration with the Faculty of Engineering. Thanks to the funding obtained by the Faculty of Engineering through a technological and social development project, development and implementation of an interoperable information system to address data fragmentation at the field level of health. Who are the participants in this experience? The engineering faculty, which was in charge of the requirement and the design of the module. The National Health Center, where it was implemented and continued to be tested and improved the new module, and the development that was in charge of Felix. Next, Mario Puntini is going to tell you and show how the development was and the result obtained. Mario, you tell me what.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I can move the slides. You move it? Okay.
You tell me on.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. As Carly said, when we thought of this model, we have to consider some key points. The first one was the most difficult one because, as you know, the odontogram, it's the representation of the patient teeth, and we have a lot of teeth, 52, counting the permanent and temporary teeth, so it's a lot of information, and the best way to see this information is by loading a picture. So the first question was how to represent this information, and I know there have been talks on mails in the mail list about the way to achieve this, and one way could have been developing a plugin to use by the client of Can You Help, and that way using some library load this information, the odontogram information, and allow the user to interact with that image and edit it. And well, we considered how to do this. We thought also about making some HTML form to show, but eventually that was out of reach for us, and we had to think of a solution and we achieved that in a simpler way, and that's one of the things of this module that could be improved. In the next in a minute we will see how we represented this odontogram. And well, so the odontogram, the dental procedures, as Carly said, we had to consider some procedures that state, some here in Argentina, and so we develop a list with, and well, another thing to be improved could be to make this in a more standard way, not only for now these procedures are you can customize the procedures, and well, the other points, the access rights and reports, are already available in New Health, so that could be done. Okay, the next slide. Okay, there you can see the patient form, and that is a tab for the dentistry, and that is the odontogram. Okay, as you can see, or I hope you can see down there. Do I have a pointer? Okay, you have the odontogram with the number teeth, right and down, right and left, up and down, and you have permanent teeth and the primary or temporary teeth. Depending on the patient, you can enable the temporary or not, obviously. And you have a button down there, set the odontogram. As you will see soon, we had to find a way to manipulate that information. So down there you can see too the legend where you can set or define the state of the teeth. So you can define if the teeth is decayed or missing or filled, and that is related with the international standard, with an index that it's down there too, the DMFT index, that counts the amount of teeth with some issue of this I mentioned. So the next slide.
Okay.
Well, that is the way to edit the odontogram now. So as you can see, it's a lot of ticks and selectors, and that's why we should develop as an improvement an image, given the chance of the user to edit the information that way. However, now this is a way to define the state of the odontogram for each tooth, and you can set also select also the surfaces of the teeth. That's all the ticks that you can see there. So next.
Okay.
Well, that's the odontogram. Zoom in, and there you can see, as I told before, the teeth by their number, and you can see, for example, that teeth 16 it's filled, or well, there's a mark next to the right of the teeth where you can see the state of the tooth according to the lesion that you see in the header. And the button to set this information, and the DMFT index that counts the situation. Oh, that index is the counter of the teeth with some of the situations of the issues, we can say, decay, missing, or fill. So next. Well, we also have to record treatments. So the dentist can insert a new treatment and load the procedures. For example, extraction or whatever they do. And I think we don't have a screenshot of the form, but this is you have a wizard to select what procedure you're doing and what tooth or set of teeth that you are working on. So with this wizard, you set the procedure, select the teeth, and that loads the treatment. And finally, you have this list where you can see the date, the professional in charge, the state, and a definition of the procedures you have done. For example, on some of the lines there that you had done some procedure in 2 or 3 teeth and some other procedure in other teeth. For example, filling or whitening. I think that's handy for the user. Okay, next. And well, that's as I said, the list of procedures. Obviously, you can customize the procedures. They can vary from place to place. And well, that's a thing that should be defined at the first place. Okay, next.
Perfect. It's my turn, I think. Yes. Well, for the implementation, a terminal was incorporated into the service and it is added to the health center network. The module was also demonstrated and training was provided to the professional of the service. Then some results of the test, the proof, development and recording treatment and the odontogram into the system. Professionals started using other system functions such as appointment or medical evaluation consultation. They also began to make proposals to improve the development. The term that is development and all the other we have done are available to the entire community in the GitLab. In gitlab.com /newhel_funnel/3.6 for the community, our development. The next, a picture of Dr. Sandra Baez using the system. Thank you, Doc, for be there. And finally, the next step. for one hand, continue with the use of the system in the health center and be able to replicate the implementation in other health centers. Implement a standard for dental finding and procedures like a SNOMED or other. Incorporate automatic statistical reports, and finally improve the presentation of the odontogram through graphic library or some other tool. This is all. Thank you very much, Mario, for joining me today in the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luis and Selene, for allowing us to be with you once again. And thanks to the National Health Center and the engineering faculty for trusting in the team and trusting in the new health projects. Thanks. And from Argentina, we are available to help. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There are already some questions. The first one is, we are working on the design of a general purpose canvas. How much of an effort would be to incorporate and match the odontogram info into the canvas?
The question was how to incorporate?
Yes. Match this odontogram into info into the canvas.
Okay. Well, the information of the odontogram is serialized in JSON. It's mapped. So I think that that could be read and displayed somehow in the canvas. But at the end, it's just it's JSON, and it's a kind of map of every teeth and of every tooth and the surfaces. So I think that's doable. I think.
Okay.
That's the point.
Thank you. The next one, have you considered using the Health OrtHank module to bring the RX images next to the dentistry procedures? There is a link about GNU Health imaging OrtHank integration. You can see it later on. Did you understand the question?
Yes, I knew the OrtHank, but I think I was not aware of that. But no, so the answer is no. I have not considered that. I thought of going to some library to load this information of the odontogram and show it to the user and allow the user to edit. But I was not aware of that. OrtHank, you said?
Yeah, OrtHank.
Yeah.
There is already a link there in the notes. Maybe you can see it later.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Sí, OrtHank is un servidor, image server, but in the primary care health center we don't have or if I have X-ray, this is not digital, so sometimes it's very difficult to implement, to incorporate in the primary care, in the primary level. But this is the question.
Okay. It was generally about dentistry procedures. Maybe not for the primary care, but for a bigger clinic or something like that. I did not make the question, but you can check it with this link, and maybe it's a nice to do for further.
An image odontogram would be the improvement we need. So, yeah.
Okay. I thank you. There are no more questions, so we are pretty in time. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. Ricardo. Thank you, Luis.
Okay, now I need to introduce himself. Luis, can you make me presentator in order to have upload.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if I have to move out.
So Ricardo, you are now presenter.
Okay.
You should be able to upload and present your new slides.
Ricardo, give me 1 sec. I'm
Okay.
uploading your presentation. We have
Have open.
you uploaded? I don't see it yet.
Okay, because Axel did said I was already presentator and I could do it, but
Yeah, but somebody removed you again.
Okay.
Let me add you again as presenter. So now you're a presenter?
Okay, then we. Okay, already there. You can hear me because I have a bad experience with headphones because of my Linux Libre kernel. Okay, I will try to make my presentation not too long. It's a little bit off topic with this possibility to implement a whistleblower channel in GNU Health. Okay. There's already some development in this issue. There are new regulations in the European Union and also some ISO norms. There is 37301 and this program 37002 about compliance management systems and whistleblowing management systems. Yeah, this I will go deeper in later slides. Why is this, or could be these issues important? Yeah? In order to discovering violation in time and let the institution to adopt internal solutions to quick with and correct what if and not reactive. And another point that any institution must have in mind is to take care of its external reputation. Yeah? Being proactive with data privacy protection or anti-bribery regulations and with whistleblower protection will always leave a good impression to others. Okay, I hope you can read it. Some countries that belong to the European Union bloc are early adopting positions to deploy these whistleblower channels in the private sector, but this is not the only move. Yeah? The entire bloc is ready to adopt legislation that enforces companies and public sector to have their own channel of fundamental rights, and that includes data protection and informational self-determination. And this directive of the European Parliament and of the Council of 23rd October 2019 on the protection of persons who report breaches of human law that entered into force will be fully effective for all countries in the European Union through December 7th. and that's an important step for all the countries inside and, of course, outside the bloc of the European Union. Why? Because we are talking about stronger laws to protect fundamental liberties, as happened almost 3 years ago with the publication of the GDPR.